Hi and welcome to my campaign. This video is going to be a little bit different from my usual geeky videos in that it has one sole purpose, and that purpose is to bring this guy to this place. Now, maybe you've been living under a rock for the past 20 or so years and have never come out, so let me talk a little bit about who these people are and what this place is. So first of all, who is Josh Gates? Josh Gates is first and foremost an archaeologist. He's an explorer. He likes to go around the world and solve different mysteries. One of his first TV shows he was the host of was called Destination Truth, and he would go around the world and he would talk about different mysteries and legends, usually with a paranormal or supernatural spin. I originally know him from the show called Expedition Unknown, which is on the Discovery Channel. Again, he goes around the world, talks about different mysteries, different legends, different treasures. Not so much of a supernatural feel, a little bit here and there, but mostly just investigating these different treasures. Some of the treasures that he's done on his show include the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, the lost city of gold, the Thomas Beale treasure, national treasure, anyone? The Captain Morgan's lost gold, the quest for King Arthur, the treasure of Forest Fenn, and the more recent treasure called The Secret that he's done a couple of episodes on, I believe. So he likes to go around, he likes to go to places, he likes to talk about treasure, he's very into treasure hunting. So what about Oak Island? Oak Island is a little island off the coast of Nova Scotia. Happens to be in Canada, and Nova Scotia is the province that I was born in. We learn in school about the Oak Island treasure. The treasure sort of goes that in the later half of the 18th century, there were some boys that rowed their boat out to Oak Island. Under a big oak tree, they seen sort of an indentation in the dirt, and they started digging. And as they dug down about 10 feet, they came across this sort of series of oak logs all laid together, and they pulled them out. That's kind of weird, maybe there's something to this. They started digging down another 10 feet, they found some more oak logs. And they kept doing this at 10 and 20 and 30 feet, keep pulling up the logs. Well, something happened around the 90-foot layer. They triggered some kind of booby trap because the entire hole just filled with water and made it impossible to dig any further. And this created sort of this mystery of what is it that's buried on Oak Island. And there's been treasure hunters that have come to Oak Island from all over the world to try to figure out what this treasure is, including former President Delano Roosevelt, who also had an interest in Oak Island. So there's a lot of interest in Oak Island. There's potential treasure in Oak Island. There's even a television show from the History Channel, The Curse of Oak Island, to try to find out what is the treasure that's going on in Oak Island. And here over on this side, we have Josh Gates, who is a treasure hunter, so it just seems logical for him to come to Oak Island. But despite all of my Twitter campaigns trying to get him to come to Oak Island, I haven't gotten anywhere. Of course, the bottom line is the problem isn't so much about Josh Gates or Oak Island, it's about the network these television shows come from. Josh Gates is on the Discovery Channel, and Oak Island, or The Curse of Oak Island, is by the History Channel, and the Discovery Channel and the History Channel are sort of in competition with one another. They probably have legal contracts. One person can't just go to Oak Island because they kind of have some sort of rights on that. The people that are on The Curse of Oak Island probably aren't allowed to appear on other network shows because of some sort of contract negotiations. So there's probably all of this different red tape. However, it's not entirely unprecedented what I'm asking for. In fact, if you look at this guy, Gary Drayton, on Oak Island, he's known as metal detection expert Gary Drayton. He's always going around the island, constantly finding treasure with his metal detector and putting them in what he calls his top pocket finds. Gary Drayton actually appeared on at least one episode of Josh Gates' Expedition Unknown, where they're talking about the Spanish treasure. It's supposed to also be Spanish treasure, by the way, on Oak Island. So he's been on both shows. And the famous William Shatner, who is currently doing a show called The Unexplained on the History Channel, did a crossover show on Oak Island where they talked about Oak Island on The Unexplained, and on Oak Island, he came to Oak Island, he visited the people of Oak Island. Of course, that's the History Channel and the History Channel. But William Shatner also appeared on an episode of Josh Gates Tonight in an episode called Totally Jawsome, which he didn't talk anything about Oak Island. In fact, at no point did anybody on the Josh Gates show actually talk about Oak Island, but they've had visitors back and forth. One of the more recent ones was in an episode in October 2020. There's a husband and wife couple, Dustin and Deidre White. They're actually hosts of a podcast called Could It Be, an Oak Island podcast. They actually were on, again, Expedition Unknown, where he's revealing a bit of the secret, and the secret is another mystery puzzle, but the same hosts, Dustin and Deidre, were on that show as well. So there's some crossovers happening. But at the core, what you'll get is a nay for most people why this can't ever happen, is they're like, look, dude, it's like if you tried to get Superman from DC Comics to show up with Spider-Man and Marvel Comics. They're competing comic books. It just isn't going to happen. Just let it go. It's not exactly true. In 1976, both Marvel and DC actually did get together. They did get along, and they produced a comic book called Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man. So it can actually happen, and I'm hoping that it can happen in this case. So this isn't a world-changing petition that I'm asking for. I just want Josh Gates to be on Oak Island. I think it would be of an advantage to both the Discovery Channel and the History Channel to see these people come together, to share their different audiences of both, which have a love for treasure hunting and a love for treasure on this show. So if you agree with me, I'd like you to please sign the petition, share and like this video to whomever you can. Try to get Josh Gates to show up on Oak Island. That's all I'm asking for.